Hi guys, today's review is going to be on the McDonald's Happy Meal Transformers Robots in Disguise toys. So there's 8 figures in total in this series. I'm very excited to get all 8 of them. So I got them brand new, straight in its packaging. So I just want to go through kind of like the rubber or the plastic bag packaging here. So each figure basically has a number up on the top right hand corner. The figure's name is printed in the middle, and then you have a Transformers Robots in Disguise logo. Each figure also comes with its own set of instructions, and at the back of its instructions, I think all the figures are pretty much the same. It basically says you can scan these figures into the Robots in Disguise game app, and you might get some new characters to play with or something like that. I'm really not sure, but apparently you can do that, which is a pretty neat feature. So I'm going to be reviewing all 8 of them. None of them are transformable. So I think most of these are really just gimmicks or actions that happens when you press a button or when you do something. So without further ado, let's get all 8 of them open and see how good of a figure they are. Alright guys, so I have all 8 Happy Meal toys open straight out of its packaging. So we'll start one by one. We'll start with number 1. So number 1 is Bumblebee. In terms of details, obviously it's mostly yellow in color. You have some yellow details here, some gray bits, some black coloring, and black kind of tail wings or something like that. He does come with a clear blue plastic sword, which you can peg only on his right hand. So his left hand is a closed fist, but you can kind of articulate his left hand through a 360 shoulder kind of joint. No other articulation besides this one and this one. So there's a gimmick on this arm, which I'll show in a bit. His face, it's very plain. There's only 2 blue dots and kind of like a slight face detail. You do have the Autobot logo, however, in the chest, which is pretty nice. So Bumblebee's gimmick is very simple. You plug the sword here, and then you basically twist, not really twist, but push his legs together, and he'll basically swing his sword. So you can kind of manually adjust this arm. If you don't like him swinging in this position, you can kind of move it here, and then but it will kind of swing backwards, which is kind of weird. So I just kind of lift it up like that, and then it seems like he's hitting on something. Like for example, Fracture, you can hit on him. So that's pretty much it for this toy. So very simple. One complaint I do have, if you do this too much, his sword might swing out. So it's not really tightly gripped. This might be loose. But so far, I don't know, for some reason, like before the review, I was testing this and it always swung out, but he's not swinging it out. So it's pretty good. But that's it. So that's number 1, Bumblebee. Number 2 is Grimlock. So to me, there are 2 toys in the series I really enjoy. He's one of them. So Grimlock is basically just a dinosaur, a fire-breathing dinosaur. Articulation wise, he does have some articulation in his legs, so you can move them up and down, and his claws, you can move them up and down as well. Again, non-transformable. I don't think there's any movement in his tail. I tried twisting it and his head, so you can't move those. In terms of his face detail, there is a bit of a there's a bit of a light green or light gray paint on his eyes. It's hard to tell here, but there is a bit of it. You have some yellow head detail, gray nose, and then the rest of the figure is mostly green and black. And you do have the Autobot logo here as well, which is pretty nice. Now his gimmick is really unique. So his gimmick is, he does have a missile here, which he can fire out, but his first gimmick is that this missile actually lights up. So I'm going to turn off my light so you guys can see it clearly. So when you turn on the switch at the bottom here, it lights up. Let me pop my light back on, maybe you guys can still see it. Actually, it's easier if I pop my light back down. So it does light up very nicely. So it's like a fire-breathing kind of dinosaur, which is really nice. Now his second gimmick is he can fire this projectile. So if you actually press down on this, so the light comes on, and then you kind of push it to the side here, he fires his missile. So very, very unique toy. And this is basically his missile. So it can light up and it can fire pretty good. Pretty far. So to me, I really like this figure out of this whole series. So I was glad that this is as fun as I thought it would be. So it's very nice. So that's Grimlock, that's number 2. Let's get my light back on. So number 3 is Optimus Prime. So he comes with this kind of energon axe that gets hooked to his fist. So he has kind of like a hole here, and then you kind of just peg this in. And his gimmick is very simple. He has a switch at the back. You just kind of press it. Oh, oops, my arm was on the way. Oh, my arm's still in the way. Probably I'll use this hand. Oops. So it's supposed to, oh, there we go. So basically, oh, my arm's still in the way. Sorry, guys. So basically, when you press this button, it spins the Energon Axe 360. So that's pretty much his gimmick. In terms of articulation, he does have some articulation. So no head articulation. There is a waist joint here, which you can turn. His legs, you can't really do anything much. His arms, again, at the shoulders, you can do a 360. You can do a 360 on the other arm as well. And that's pretty much it. So in terms of details, he does have a black chest plate. His Autobot logo is actually here. Not sure if you guys can see it clearly. So his Autobot symbol's here. He does have some head detail, but not a whole lot. Some kind of grills on the forehead, and then there's kind of like 2 small pinches of light blue for his eyes. And then there's a waist that's gray in color, light gray on his thighs and crotch area, and then some blue detail on his legs, two blue wheel detail. And at the back, it's pretty much just a switch and some gray detail. So his gimmick is just a spinning Energon Axe, which is still really fun. But to me, not as fun as Grimlock. But nonetheless, Happy Meal toys, what can you ask for, right? So number 4 is the Decepticon figure Fracture. So this one, I probably need to close my light again, but I'll kind of go through what this guy has first. So he does have a kind of like a cannon weapon, which he can peg through this hole on to his shoulders like so. Or alternatively, you can take it off and you can peg it at the back for storage. So you can have him display like that. Now in terms of articulation, again, his arms, he can spin it 360 on his shoulder joints, and he has some waist movements, and that's pretty much it. In terms of face detail, there's 2 kind of red dots, purple and black in color mostly. He does have a Decepticon logo right in his chest. And then most of the figure is really light purple and dark purple, kind of. That's pretty much it. So his gimmick, he doesn't really have a moving gimmick, but he does have a light up gimmick. So his cannon here, there's a switch. So if you turn on the switch, it's the other way. And then if you press this kind of back part here forward, you'll see a light up cannon. So the cannon flashes into kind of like a red and orange yellow color. So you can kind of peg it on his shoulders, and then you can kind of fire it, like so. So that's Fracture's gimmick. That's pretty much it. You can turn this off, and again, you can store it at the back, whatever way you want. The instruction says this way, so if you want to store it this way, it's fine, but you probably have to move your waist joint so that it stores perfectly. Because I've seen people where like they move the waist joint like that and you can't really store it store the cannon, it would just be loose. So you gotta move it all the way to kind of like the right, and then you can store at the back like so. So that's number 4 fracture. Number 5 is, I forgot this guy's name. What is this? Underbite. Oh yes, Underbite. So again, Decepticon logo right in the forehead. You have some eye detail. I think in terms of like face detail, this guy has it the most accurate to the show and to the actual figure itself. So you do have, you can press on the kind of like a forehead piece, and then the jaw moves up and down. Some gray bits on the nose, some dark gray bits on the jaw, and then most of the figure is basically purple and gray. He does look really similar to the one-step Underbite that I had. So if I transform Underbite, obviously this guy's more detailed, but they look quite similar. And they both have that forehead kind of, I guess this Underbite has the jaw movement, but they can both open their jaws. So his gimmick is really unique. So what you do is you, let me move these guys back for now. Oops, everyone's collapsing. But let me just move these guys away. So his gimmick is, you can press on this, his jaw will open, you can leave it like that. And then basically you rest him on kind of like a flat surface, and if you let go, he jumps and attacks. So that's his gimmick. Very unique gimmick. Again. So just one more time. Oops. Just kind of sit him down, and then he jumps and attacks. So that's his gimmick. Very, very nice little figure. And then let me just straighten everybody out first. So Underbite is number 5. Number 6 is Sideswipe. So he does come with kind of like a double-bladed sword. His gimmick is, I mean, before we go through a gimmick, let's go through some kind of like articulation details. So his arms, again, similar to all other figures. You can move it 360. He does have the Autobot logo on his chest, mostly red and black in terms of coloring. He does have some waist movement, no head movement, and to me, in terms of robot heads, his is kind of okay. So if you actually, if I zoom in, you can kind of see there's kind of 2 light blue dots and a white face detail. That's pretty much it. His gimmick, similar to the Optimus I showed you before, you basically peg this crystal or light blue double-bladed sword onto his hands, and then at the back there's a switch, and you just basically press it and it spins. Oops. Sometimes you gotta crank it and then it works. So extremely similar to Optimus, but Sideswipe has the spinning mechanism on his left hand, whereas Optimus has it on his right. But virtually the same gimmick between these two. So that's number 6, Sideswipe. Number 7 is Fix-It, a very cute little bot. Again, orange in detail mostly. He has kind of like a drill detail, some hand claw detail. His face, 2 blue eyes, and then kind of like a mouth shape detail. Very, very cute bot. He has rolling wheels. So his gimmick is virtually just putting him down and roll his wheels. And you can see his drill goes in and out. And his hands keep spinning. That's basically his gimmick. I'm pretty sure you can peg something in here. I'm really not sure what I can peg in here. Maybe Bumblebee's sword, and then you can kind of make it like a spinning drill or spinning sword, which is pretty neat. But besides that, he doesn't come with any kind of attachment here, but you can kind of attach different stuff here to make it spin, which is pretty nice, and his drill goes in and out. That's basically his gimmick, and that's number 7. He does have an Autobot logo here, I forgot to mention. Let me just zoom in for you guys. So he does have an Autobot logo right there. So that's Fix It, number 7. Number 8. It's clamshell, I think, from what I remember. Let's see. Number 8 is Clamp Down, Clamp Down. So he is actually my second favorite figure. Actually my first, yeah, I would say my second favorite figure because my first is Grimlock. So this guy is, number 1, he has yellow eye details. He has some brown flaps here. A very nice big mouth. Some purple detail, red detail on the body. Red detail on the legs. He does have waist movement, believe it or not. His claws, you can move it up and down. Same thing with this one. And he has some red detail here. Now, his gimmick is absolutely fun. So to show you guys, oh, one thing about this figure though that I don't like, if you move both his claws up, it's hard to balance him. He just falls down. So if I have to display him, I kind of have to move this claw down for balance, and then he stays up here. So his gimmick rests on his left arm. Surprisingly, I can't really, oh, his Decepticon logo is right here, located on his left arm. So his gimmick is actually very fun, and his Decepticon logo is actually a button that activates the gimmick. So basically what happens is you basically press this button, it'll launch his claw, and the claw will clamp down on anything that he catches. So to show you guys, I think the best way is to get a pen. I think this is the easiest way to show you guys. So if I press onto this button here will basically hit the pen, and then the red claw will basically close down. So here we go. Oh, I missed. So let me just kind of reset it. And here we go. There you go. So it claws down anything that touches that button, which is a really, really unique feature. So again, so this red button, this red claw part here, anything that touches this, it'll clamp down. And then if you want to reset it, just move it back up. And then pull the strings and reattach the claw. You gotta pull it far back and then reattach it. So this figure is like my second favorite because it's so fun to play with. And it claws onto stuff. So very, very unique Happy Meal toy. So there you have it, all 8 toys. Each of them are very unique in their shaping and their gimmicks. I think the only similar one is really Optimus and Sideswipe. I think those two are like the only really similar gimmick ones. The rest of them are kind of different. They each have their own unique factor. But by all means, I think my favorite is still Grimlock and Clam Down, and then probably Fix It is my third favorite. The rest of them, it's not that they're bad, but they're still really good figures. It's just not as fun to play with though. Like playability wise, I think these two guys are really fun to play with. But there you go. This is basically the Transformers Robots in Disguise toy line for the McDonald's Happy Meal toys. So numbers 1 through 8 is all displayed and reviewed here. So if you guys have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comment section below. Again, hopefully I can post more reviews up for you guys. It's been a crazy busy time for me, but I'll try to do my best to post more reviews. But if you guys are interested, definitely hit McDonald's and get these toys because I think they're running out soon. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned for more reviews.